Aloha, you're listening to the Rolling Vets podcast by veterans for veterans as feelings alike. I am Lucas Moss, your co-host, and I'm flanked by my Marine veteran peers, Aaron Pata and Chris Ellis. We would like to extend an invitation to you, the listener, to journey inside of our realm to discover what it means to be a rolling vet.
And we are back.
We're fucking back. Happy motherfucking holidays. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you believe. Happy holidays. I think when this episode actually probably comes out, it'll probably be New Year's too. So happy New Year. Hopefully
happy end of Marine Corps Ramadan.
Yeah, closing another, season of Marine Corps Ramadan.
Another glorious year.
Yeah, or I mean, just in general, unless you're on a pretty shitty schedule in the military or outside the military, just Ramadan in general, having a lot of time off, a lot of holidays. Hopefully you got to spend it with some family. Hopefully you got a lot of cool shit. Hopefully you feel fulfilled after this holiday season, because we're about to feel pretty fulfilled here in a second.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today is
8-inch dildo or what?
You'll fucking find out.
We don't want to talk about your Christmas presents, Aaron. We want to.
What was that about?
The gifts that you received.
What was that?
The gift that keeps on giving.
Do we need to take a look at your notes page and talk about that?
Oh, my notes. Okay, so we're gonna bring
on your 2-by list.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Our listeners are not gonna get inside jokes, you little stupid bitch. All right, Chris. Yeah, so fucking Chris.
Right, fucking set up straight and listen to me.
All right.
Left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee, back straight. Eyes, ears open. Click. Eyes, sir.
Eyes. Whatever the fuck that was.
Click, sir.
Ears
open.
So.
Sir.
Yeah.
So today's topic is motherfucking Iwo Jima. This is the Mecca.
Like just the island, like we're talking about vacation.
Yeah, we're just
spots.
talking about just a vacation spot. They have some nice beaches there, I heard, and stuff, and a nice mountain.
Black sand beaches, baby.
Black sand fucking beaches. All right. So I think pretty much everybody has heard of Iwo Jima. And if you haven't heard of it, you've seen the most viewed picture in the world, which is
Anne Frank
and the raising of hey, put your little fucking glass away, all right?
Oh, that's sand from Iwo Jima.
My glass is way bigger.
Sand from Iwo Jima.
See, I have a bigger
vial too. This is.
Can I have some? Can I have some?
I can hook you up.
Okay, because I did have I had like a fucking like a dip container filled with the sand from Iwo Jima, but then when I got in a car accident, I left it in the car that got totaled.
Stupid
and never got it back. Yeah.
Damn.
Unfortunately, but continue.
All right, so Iwo Jima, the Battle of Iwo Jima took place from the 19th of February through March 26th, which happens to be my fucking birthday, so that's easy to remember. So
hey, my birthday's in that time frame too. Look at that. Yeah.
So the significance of us taking Iwo Jima was they wanted to use the airstrip as a refuel station and for the fighter jets to escort the B-29 bombers for the bombing of mainland Japan and the anticipation of the invasion of mainland Japan. So before I start diving into this, let me give everybody some background. So the three major units, three major divisions for the U.S. was the 5th Marines, the 4th Marines, and the motherfucking 3rd Marines, baby.
Hooray.
There was estimated 110,000 Marines that took part in invading Iwo Jima. The U.S. took about 27,000 casualties and exactly 6,102 deaths. Now, on the other hand, on the Japanese side, it was the 109th Imperial Japanese Army, and it consisted of an estimated 21,000 Japanese. By the time the battle was over, there was 18,000 of those motherfuckers dead and 216 prisoners.
Damn.
So the facts are a little disputed on that. I just want to put a little disclaimer out. Some people
that's estimate, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people say we took up to 29,000 casualties. I'm not sure how many of those were deaths, but so there's a little bit of a skew between.
Yeah, there's always, I think with just any kind of, when it comes to battle statistics or war statistics, like I guess in general casualty statistics, like it's almost fucking impossible. Like you're gonna have people. And think about this, like just I mean, obviously on paper, I mean, you dealt a lot with this, Aaron, of like personnel and stuff like that, like keeping responsible, being responsible for personnel counts and whatnot. Like even on paper, if someone doesn't show up, like who's to say like what happened to them? I mean, some of these people, like there's nothing left of them. There's nothing left of you, like to identify you.
On that, right, what you report to the media is completely different than your actual counts, right? So like say I went to war with the nation, so the nation of Pata went to a war with the nation of Lucas Mas.
And lost.
To my
lost.
Fucking lost. Fucking L.
Anyway, what I report to my people, right, is going to be a severe, like a less number than what he reports he killed, right? So you're going to over exaggerate. I'm going to under evaluate, and we're going to go ahead and meet somewhere in the middle. And we're going to go ahead and say like, hey, somewhere in the middle of that is the accurate accounting.
Because obviously you don't want the American people to think that we're getting our ass kicked all around the Pacific and everything.
But not. I think we are kind of missing a bigger point here. So let's think about it comparatively. All right, we have just roughly 7,000 U.S. deaths, right, compared to an estimated 18,000, Japanese deaths. 21. So like, so let's talk about like why that number is so great. Like we got to talk about the differences between the Japanese mentality of being a soldier and the Marine mentality. Okay, right on. Yeah. Then proceed, good sir.
Motherfuckers. All right. So doing the overview first. We're just doing the overview.
Okay.
All right.
No questions allowed.
No questions fucking allowed. Potter, shut your fucking mouth.
Never. You invited me on the podcast. I'm gonna run my mouth.
I'm not sure if it was the United States Marines that were there. It might have been the United States
media.
Marines
it's all about the media
that was there.
Probably took up most of those deaths.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
All right. At ease.
All right.
There was a 1-year prep on the Japanese side. They wanted to dig, and so the island of Iwo Jima, the Japanese call it Iwato. I had the opportunity of being able to walk the sands and the beaches and be able to see the Mount Suribachi in person. Very lucky for that. So they dug 11 miles of tunnels. They had barracks dug 75 feet underground, and they did this because starting it was June 14th. They started bombing Iwo Jima in anticipation for the invasion.
Like naval bombing and stuff?
Yep. No, not just naval, like the U.S. Air Force.
Aerial. Both aerial bombing and naval. Huh.
Yep. So there was a 1-year prep. They only dug 11 miles, but they wanted 17 miles. They didn't get the opportunity to finish their full plan. Now, the leader of the island on the Japanese was Lieutenant General, I'm going to fuck this up, Tadamachi.
That
sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Fuck it, it's Tadamachi now.
Stand fucking paid off right there. Hell yeah.
There's accounts of him already stating that he knew he was going to lose against the U.S. He knew it was a losing battle. His goal was to incorporate and inflict as much casualties he could, and they wanted to try to deter the American government from invading mainland Japan if they could cause enough casualties on Iwo Jima.
Yeah. So what year is this again? You said 44?
19. Well, they started bombing in June of 44. The invasion started on the 19th of February, but they started their pre D-Day bombing 3 days prior.
Right.
Okay. But this is all early 44.
Yep.
Okay.
We wanted originally 10 days, but
So hey, motherfucker, I'm doing the fucking story, not you.
Please continue.
Yeah. All right.
The juicy
stuff. The pre-landing bombing, Major General Harry Schmidt requested a 10-day shelling. Thanks, Pada. Rear Admiral William Blandy denied that and said it would not allow him to replenish his ship's ammo in time to help with artillery during the invasion. So Major General Schmidt requested 9 days. They told him fuck off, and they gave him 3 days. So that's where it comes from.
That sounds about right.
A big part of that is it upset a lot of Marines. I mean, think about that. Just not about the battle, but the Marines sitting on ship prior to invading Iwo Jima, and you were told, all right, we're requesting a 10-day bombardment, and that gets denied, and they give you 3 days. They don't just cut it in half. They cut that in half pretty much.
Yeah.
You're getting a 3-day shelling before you have to go land on these fucking beaches on unknown territory you've never been, never seen. You always seen pictures of, and
You'll
fight.
get it on the back end.
Yeah. Little side story too is the Marines that they trained prior to Iwo Jima, they trained on the Big Island of Hawaii, where I got the opportunity to go to a camp. I forget the name of the camp, can't remember it, but it had a mountain that was not quite the size of Iwo Jima, but they would practice running up and down that fucking hill in preparation for the battle. So Lieutenant General Howland Mad Smith complained after the war and said that the lack of bombing before any of the other island campaigns caused an immense casualties on the Marine Corps side, and said that it was a piss poor fucking planning pretty much.
Facts. Yeah.
So
All right.
during the bombardment, there was 450 ships off the coast of Iwo Jima. The destroyers that were shelling, they only shelled for 6 hours at a time before they would take breaks. And I've been on a Navy ship, and I cannot fucking imagine sitting down in my fucking barracks, berthing for 6 hours, listening to constant fucking shells come off. Boom! You're feeling every shot comes off. You're probably feeling your fucking chest.
Each one. I'm sitting there thinking, man, I hope that's a whole lot of bad guys I don't gotta worry about.
A lot of fucking bad guys.
That, and like I remember hearing some account of, like, I think from the actual book Iwo Jima. I forgot who it was written by, but
Flags of Our Fathers.
I can't remember. No, I think the book title is Iwo Jima. I don't remember who wrote it, but
Pretty straight to the point, that book.
Yeah. But no, like I remember like reading a passage out of it, and it stated like, hey man, I'm paraphrasing here.
Hey man,
we feared whoever like survived, or we doubted anybody survived the shelling, and we feared whoever did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's actually that's a pretty good quote though. If we can find the source of that. Yeah, that's pretty.
The source and the actual quote for my non-drunken stupor. That would be great.
All right, so on the 19th of February at 8:59, the invasion started. Now,
It's got to be early.
Yeah, it's got to be fucking early.
If you ain't early, you're late.
They're probably already staged fucking a day and a half beforehand on the fucking flight deck.
We had 09 formation on the beach. So I didn't know about the Japs, but we had to be there, so we were going to be there.
And we weren't going to show up like us on.
And we couldn't be
1st.
fucking late. What was waiting for us if we were late was worse than what was going to meet us on that beach.
So the Japanese, going back to their strategy, they before when the Marines would land on any island campaign, they would be met with immense firepower. I mean, machine guns, mortars, artillery, everything you could think of getting thrown at them. When they landed on Iwo Jima, it was the exact opposite of that. They landed and at 8:59, and they had hardly any contact whatsoever. The Marines thought the shelling caused way more damage than initially thought in the beginning stages, and they started just pouring troops onto the beach. Well, the General Takamachi, whatever the fuck his name is, he had it all planned out that he wanted the Marines to advance about 500 yards inland, and then they had the whole entire beach surrounded. And at 10 a.m. there was a quote that I read when I was doing some research on this, and one of the people in the battle said everything from machine guns, mortars, artillery opened up on the beach, and it was complete chaos. So you go from landing on the beach, and not to mention it's the black sand. If the viewers are watching, they can see that this is the sand from Iwo Jima.
I think you got muted, man. Yeah. Yeah, you're good now.
All right, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So the Amtraks are dead in the water. They cannot go through the sand. They just get stuck. They're fucked.
Yeah.
So at 10 a.m., all hell breaks loose. And the Seabees had to bulldoze makeshift roads through the beach into the land to allow U.S. forces to land tanks and everything they need.
And for those who don't know who Seabees are,
Seabees are fucking Navy motherfuckers, specialized in blowing shit up and creating paths. All right,
creating paths. They're basically they're like sister, like I wouldn't say sister, they're brother MOS, like the UDTs. They are what would eventually become like the Navy SEALs.
Right.
Yeah. So.
all right. Fuck.
You doing good? You all right there? You all right there, Professor?
Professor Ellis, he's having some technical issues, technical difficulties.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you. University class is back in session.
Class is back in fucking session.
All right, let's fucking get it.
All right, so 30,000 Marines land on the first before the end of the first day. There's another quote that as they pushed into the terrain, out of the 900 Marines of one battalion that landed, only 150 were able to fight at the end of the day. There were so many casualties and deaths, and the amount of guerrilla warfare that the Japanese were implementing on Iwo Jima was something that the U.S. forces were not used to, or were not trained that they were gonna fucking whatever word I want to use.
Yeah, so for perspective there, that's like one company out of an entire, how many battalions?
There were 3 divisions.
There's 3 whole divisions. All right, so for you non-military folk out there, there's 4 companies in a battalion, right? There's, I think, 3 to 4 battalions.
4 companies, there's 5.
5 companies.
Well, I mean, so you're thinking about they were structured very, very differently too. You have wartime size like battalions then, and in Army battalions compared to Marine battalions, like or in divisions, they're gonna be like fucking, the numbers are gonna be like they're gonna differentiate. Yeah.
So this is the 4th and 5th battalion landing, correct, Chris? Like they were the one who spearheaded the assault?
Yes. The 3rd Marine Division stayed back, and they did land some forces on the first day towards the evening, and the second day towards Iwo Jima.
So in any operation, you have got like your vanguard, and then you have your like reinforcement battalion kind of coming in and plussing up the losses from the initial push.
Yeah. And there was a First Lieutenant Saraki wrote on February 22nd during the battle that they were winning. That this is a winning war, into the stay strong and stay in the winning battle. But the very next day, Mount Suribachi was taken. So when the U.S. forces were ascending Mount Suribachi, they received little conflict at all. Mount Suribachi was filled with tunnels. I mean, they had barracks in there. They had a hospital set up in there. It was a crazy amount of work they put into that island.
And Mount Suribachi was the highest point on.
Yep, it's 554 feet tall.
Right.
So a flat, desolate land after bombing, and on the left side of the island, I think it's the east side, is Mount Suribachi, right off the coast, right next to the water. Now I want to get into something here real quick. During the battle, a little story. Our beloved Gunnery Sergeant John Basilone was killed in action on February 19th on the first day. So he was rewarded the Medal of Honor at Guadalcanal, and he was rewarded the Navy Cross at Iwo Jima. He single-handedly destroyed an enemy blockhouse and then led a Marine tank through a minefield by himself. Now, there's 2 different stories. The first story is after he led the tank through the minefield, he was hit by machine gun fire, and he died instantly. Another story is the one I originally first heard when I was on Iwo Jima was he rendezvoused his squad by the airfield, on the edge of the airfield, and he was discussing his next maneuver, and his squad was hit by a mortar fire, and the shrapnel killed him on impact. So you don't know about Gunnery Sergeant John fucking Basilone, you're missing the fuck out. We
Yeah,
should do it. We should do
badass
something about that.
Marine Corps legend and part of 3rd Marines.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we say our veteran, John Basilone, like he is the staple of the Marine Corps, and he came from the same battalion that we served with, which is insane.
Yeah.
So
That's a good part of it. And I think even on a more personal note too, like when Aaron and I served in India company,
Yes, sir.
the 0331s, I think majority of them were from New Jersey, and that's where John Basilone is. And if you're from New Jersey, I think you're very proud of that fact. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I used to fucking bag on them all the time about it. And
But-
just say, John Basilone, fuck that dude. He ain't want no fucking Marine. Like, and it's just say that
I'm
shit. Like, he's from
surprised you
Jersey,
shit
like
fucking
fucking
kicked it,
shitbag. But yeah.
But no, like as much fun as we poke, like, hey, he is a real fucking war dog. In fact,
Yeah.
actually, out here in San Diego, if you go downtown, there's this place called Little Italy, and there's a statue, and it commemorates John Basilone and some of his deeds. I think it highlights one of the 2 major events they took place in, and was awarded the Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking
And I think a big thing to remember too is like, just because you get awarded the Medal of Honor, that don't mean you fucking stop going to combat. That don't mean you stop your normal duties.
Oh, they tried to actually stop Gunnery Sergeant Basilone from going to combat. They wanted to parade him around and make him a war hero.
Yeah, for war bonds. Yeah, for money and shit. But even like, but think about it in a modern day age. Like you it's just now it's just part of your ribbon stack. It's just part of what you wear when you wear your formal attire. Like obviously they you kind of like have a way they can kind of finesse you into more maybe like an administrative position, but for the most part, like you're right back at it like a crack addict. Like after that, like you have to.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows you got that fucking, like, what happened. Everyone has read the fucking citation. They saw the president put the fucking the medal around your neck, like. So it's no fucking secret, it's not like you could just be some dude and like you don't know shit about him in your unit until you fucking are like a mess night or a fucking the ball, and you see like, damn, this dude's fucking stack is huge. Like, what the fuck did this guy do? Like, no, it's no secret, man. And you got to try to still be like one of the boys. You know what I'm saying?
And the cool thing about that too is like, the one Medal of Honor recipient that I was fortunate enough to meet, I think you were there too, Lucas, Chris.
Yep. Yeah,
was,
Dakota Meyer.
Sergeant Dakota Meyer. And
yeah,
after gaining or being awarded America's highest medal, right? You would think, oh, it goes to their head a little bit, like he's obviously better than the rest of us and he should know it, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But being like, just from the one that I met, I'm not, saying that everybody's like this, but maybe they are, I don't know, is they're so humble. They're so humble when they accept it. They're saying, hey, I didn't do anything special. You know what I mean? There's nothing that I did that was different that any one of my other Marines that I was serving with would not have done. They were just not in the same position as me. And I think that's huge. Andrew Carlson, Lieutenant Carlson, Captain Carlson now, would always say, hey, a gentleman is magnanimous in both victory and defeat.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. You know what I mean? Like to be awarded the highest honor in the US and still be like, it wasn't all me, man.
I think it's a testament to kind of like rope it back into what we touched on right when we started talking about Iwo Jima and kind of like now, is like, it's like the honor thing. It's about honor, right? It's the honorable thing to do, to kind of be like humble about it. So like when you receive this award, like I was just doing my duty as a soldier. Like it's duty, it's honor and stuff like that. So you have that kind of like sense of responsibility, and to some it may be a false sense of responsibility to take on that, that honorable soldier mask and put that on. But I think that was a big part of like the Japanese mindset, is like the Bushido, like it's the honor sense. Like they were like, they had an opportunity here, though they knew they were going to lose, to potentially steal away a victory, right? That could motivate their people. This was huge for them, and we think, unfortunately, due to a lot of the textbooks and the shit that we grew up like reading that aren't exactly historically accurate, like, and unfortunately, like, what we do a lot is we demonize and dehumanize our enemies. So like that, I mean, the fact that I even said like Japs, I think it's unfortunately, like, nobody should be just saying like Japs, but
I don't think somebody should be offended over. I mean, yeah, I get it.
You're not Japanese, but
that's warfare, right?
Back,
like we demonize our enemies.
I mean, you could say
well,
that's
first off,
warfare.
We're talking about World War II, Imperial Japanese.
But what I'm
like
saying is,
Nazis.
But what I'm saying is that when we do that, we always kind of put our military at such a pedestal, and we always think of their military as like lesser, right? Like, because we beat them, like they had a lesser military. It's like that's not necessarily the case.
Why we do is because number one, we won, right? And the winners write the tales.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Two, in order for us to, because it's against human nature to kill another human, right? Like that's just, it's not a natural thing, and it hurts. But if you demonize the enemy to the extent where you no longer see them as human, right, it becomes a little bit easier. Right?
Yeah. And I get that. That's not my point. My
aspect of it, though. I do think that like the U.S. forces were well more trained and more well equipped than the Japanese by far. I mean, the Japanese were known for their bonsai charges. Like, where would you think? What?
Which they did not conduct until like the very last stand, right?
Yeah.
No, there was body charges right off the.
But I mean, other than that, they're still performing normal infantry tactics, though. This isn't like like that's what I'm saying, though. That's what my whole point here is. Like, regardless, I'm saying because of the fact that like our media and stuff back then and during that time is like we demonized and dehumanized these people, because we are the victors. We tend to look at them as if they were a lesser military, but that's not necessarily the case. Like they fought with a system, they fought with a belief in which like honor and duty and purpose is like that was very, and that was in sacrifice, like that was all very much a part of being a soldier, and being a soldier is very much being a warrior, and I think what makes the Battle of Iwo Jima is just so fucking fascinating. I think what makes the Marines' involvement in the Pacific so fascinating, and fighting against the Japanese in specific compared to if we had fought the Nazis, I think is like you have the one branch in the military that it has that, no pun intended, dog mentality. You have that one branch that's always looking for a fight, that is very eager just to stick it to whoever the fuck they want. They want the close, one mind, any weapon, right? The true fucking warrior mentality, right? And then you're fighting against a people, and that's their fucking core belief. And it makes me really think about like how things may have been like different if the Marines weren't as involved as they were in the Pacific.
We're trying to prove ourselves to ourselves, like our own country, right? Like,
exactly.
Why should we exist? This is fucking why.
It's like a perfect matchup, dude. It's it's the fucking it's the rumble in the jungle. I
mean, no disrespect to any of the other branches.
Imagine
like if the army had spearheaded that, right? There's not that same level of we're gonna fucking get this done because we were told to fucking get it done. Right.
Yeah, but like it worked out perfectly. It worked out perfectly because you think about the army's responsibility in Europe. They take land, hold land, take land, hold land. That's the purpose of the fucking army. Yeah, exactly. And they're islands at the end of the day. Like, all right, Chris, we fucking went on a little tangent.
So I got something actually for Chris.
It's like that. It's like that indoctrination that we all get, like when we're in boot camp. Like we're told from the get go, like, listen to fucking all orders instantly. Like you are the fucking best.
Instant willing
Like,
obedience to
use
all orders.
respect for authority. Yeah, all that fucking shit. Like
Yeah.
that's pounded into us to like always do more, always like go further. And I feel like that is just a mentality that's been passed through the Marine Corps to, 2022 now. It was implemented, and we have that history and those battles behind us, and like we have to hold up ourselves to that reputation, that standard they held themselves to.
Exactly.
Like the Marines of the World War II were like the baddest motherfuckers, like fought fucking island fucking hopping campaigns, like multiple battles that lasted months long. Like if you are in a reading, you haven't read a Helmet for My Pillow yet, that's a fucking amazing book that actually depicts how helmet for my pillow.
Yeah.
For My Pillow. I haven't read that one yet.
Is that one by Ledecky or Lucky?
Yeah.
I think his last name is like Ledecky or something. And then the other one would be With the Old Breed by Eugene Sledge.
That one's great too. Yep.
Yeah. They both fought in the Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I think that history is what drives us to be like, have that fucking attitude. Like, we're fuck you, we're better than you. Like, that's why the Marines are always the most fucking arrogant branch. Fuck the Army and all that
Rightfully
shit.
So I'm sorry.
I mean, that's
all
us.
other viewers. That's just who we are. You know what I mean? It's like it's bred into us.
And I think people that are in the Army and are in other branches and stuff, like, no, like it's like a thing. Like, oh, you know how he knows he's a Marine? Because he tells you. Like,
yeah.
Shit.
And like that's our mentality, right? Like, we say we're better, we strive to prove that we're better, and we will constantly show you that, hey, we're fucking better. Why? Because it's been drilled into us. Now, granted, we might come from the same like poolies that go to every other fucking branch, but what makes us different is the fact that, like, hey, we have that reputation to strive towards, we have that reputation to uphold.
Pounded in our fucking heads. But back to the fucking Battle of Iwo Jima. All right, so Medal of Honors, we were talking about that, and I was fucking pumped, and we were talking about how the Medal of Honor is the highest award that can be given, and there's a quote from Iwo Jima: uncommon valor was a common virtue. There was 27 Medal of Honors given at the
Admiral Nimitz.
Admiral Nimitz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't say who the quote was by. But there was a 27 Medal of Honor recipients, 22 Marines and 5
Navy
sailors.
corpsmen.
2 of them were Navy corpsmen, I believe.
2 were corpsmen. Okay.
Yeah.
My research is lacking.
Wait, let me. Never mind. I don't know.
That quote though was like uncommon valor was a common virtue. Like, it leads to one of my like favorite like variations of the quotes, which is common sense is an uncommon virtue.
Yes, I fucking love that. Live by that.
Yep.
It makes sense. You're fucked up, bro. Like, we could do that, but that makes sense.
Yeah. But the actual like combat, like 27 Medal of Honors given out during the battle.
They were just out there, some dude with a bag of them, just fucking
just throwing them out
like a flower girl at the
get out of here,
at
dude.
the wedding or what?
No, so there's so many fucking awesome
stories
citations written.
Yes.
Like, so many amazing like
individual accounts. Yeah, like
Yes.
individual accounts of valor, of true valor and bravery, and in a lot of cases sacrifice.
So it goes back to the 11 miles of tunnels dug under the island. It wasn't just like, combat 100 yards away, somebody shooting at you. Like, they're shooting from like hiding in like bushes in a tunnel. So flamethrowers were actually utilized a lot during this battle. They would flamethrow the fucking tunnels and the bunkers. When I was at Iwo Jima, I was going around these bunkers, and I'll shoot you the picture. You can throw it up. There's still the original flamethrowers that were used on Iwo Jima, like in the tunnels, like in the fucking bunkers. There's
What?
still original artillery on Iwo Jima. That island's sacred to them now. Like
That's
fucking metal.
insane.
the
It's fucking metal as
bunkers are
fuck.
still there. Like, yeah, like they were like, hey, don't go off like the fucking path because you could fucking step on something.
What?
Hell
Like,
yeah,
good
brother.
artillery from that.
Yeah,
previous
I'll
war?
we'll post some pictures up on this episode for the viewers watching.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I have a picture of me standing next to a bunker that's 10 feet thick of concrete and 8 foot of it's blown out, and there's just like barbed wire and concrete, like just big hole, huge fucking hole.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's the damage. I mean, there's still bullet holes. Like I would walk into the fucking tunnels when I was there. I don't give a shit. I wanted to see that stuff.
So they told you not to walk into those though?
Yeah, but everybody did anyways. I wasn't a fucking only person.
You're
But
probably
there's
not the
still
only
bullet
Marine.
holes like in the tunnels in the walls. Like that shit's still there. I mean, yeah, that was what 80 years ago, pretty much. But like the history is still there. And
I guess the dude who was supposed to patch him up is a little late, huh?
nah. Well, I mean, it's like I
Somebody
don't know.
come in and
It's,
fix
Dude,
this
we
want-
fucking
no,
drywall.
no,
it's untouched.
Lucas,
It's like
we wanted the airfield.
nobody's lived
That's
there.
it.
Yeah, it's just an airfield. Like, nobody's touched anything. It's like it's all like where it was pretty much.
Yeah.
Did
yeah.
they?
When the battle
Yeah,
ended.
dude. Like,
Yeah,
that
I
makes-
mean the same things with Gettysburg. Gettysburg's the same way. Like they have to. They're actually they've made a campaign in the last half decade or so to
To
kind
trim
of
the trees.
to trim the trees and to reshape the battlefield like how it used to be, because obviously there's a lot of overgrown trees and
I remember,
you know and stuff
actually,
like that. And they found they in these trees they're finding like just an
Musket
abundance of musket balls and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
I remember actually visiting that when I was a senior in high school, and actually I remember coming across that memorial in DC on Common Valor was a Common Virtue,
Yeah. The
and
World War II memorial.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember walking the plains of Gettysburg as well. It's such a humbling experience, and at the time I knew I wanted to be a Marine, so like it meant a little bit more to me, but I don't think I could fully appreciate it until I go back there now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
We keep cutting off Chris. I'm sorry, man.
You're
We're
good,
fucking-
man.
Woo.
Yeah, so
So, anyways, as I was saying, I was just fucking no, do your thing, man.
the battle fucking ended on March 26th, the fucking day I was born. I ended that shit. But
On 1944, huh?
They
You're
knew I was
that
coming.
fucking
They knew I
old,
was
dude.
coming.
You grand old man, of the Marine Corps over here, guys. Chris.
but
Hey,
the fighting still continued for months after that. The Japanese they had a no surrender like motto, and they would, I mean, for months and months after, Marines would get shot, get killed, because they would still be popping out of random holes out of the ground or tunnels. I mean, the island was not fully mapped out for years after, so that was an I forget the year, but I remember an article I read about a Japanese soldier that was still like in an island hiding
For
up
20
until
years.
it was like the 90s or the 80s or 90s.
It
It
was,
was something
yeah.
like 20 years, and he refused to surrender until like the Emperor of Japan fucking told him, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we're done, bro."
Yeah, hey, we stopped
The
playing this
60s, I
game a
think.
long time ago, brother.
It was the 60s or the 70s, yeah. But like, imagine having that much dedication to your military, to your country, to like.
Well, I think a lot of
continue
it, like
to
there was
fight.
no communication. I thought he was like kind of cut off.
No, he was.
No, he was
absolutely cut off.
told like you fight
But-
till you die, like you never surrender.
Yeah. So
Nah.
like, but imagine that. Like, I don't care. Like, no communication whatsoever. Eventually, like you think like I would pop my head out and be like, "Yo, are we still fighting, man? Like, are we still here?"
I mean, that's what we were kind of touched on earlier, was like the kind of soldiers that they were, like their belief system and what lengths that they were willing to go to to
Secure
solidify
victory for
their
the country.
not only secure victory, but to to reinforce that belief system.
Absolutely.
And how that, I think that just the matchup with kind of just a more westernized version of themselves, I believe, which are the United States Marines.
Because you could totally think about like a conflict that say God forbid, World War III popped off. They had an like enemy island hopping campaign. I could totally tell like 2 or 3 Marines that I could tell like 40 years down the line are still fucking fighting, and the war's been over for decades. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could totally see the flip side of that too.
I can't.
I can't.
Nah, fuck
can't.
nah. It'd be like, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna get my
You think
ass
a fucking
home.
American or something after
You're
like
telling
2
me-
months of Marine to be like, all right, fuck this, dude. Like I'm
You're
out.
telling me Andrew Carlson, all right,
Ah,
our old
okay.
XO, wouldn't still be fighting 20 to 40 years later?
I don't know, man. All I know is think about
no,
this.
no,
Think
no,
about
no, no,
think
no
about
more,
any
no,
fucking
no,
conflict.
help
Think
me.
about any conflict, any war that we've been in. They say the same shit every fucking time. And that first year, it's the same shit. Home by Christmas. Well, we will win the war by Christmas. We'll be done by
You can go
Christmas.
off the
Is it ever
logic
done
for-
by fucking Christmas?
You
It's
can go off
never
that
done
logic,
by
but
fucking
you can-
Christmas.
In Iwo Jima, they said, "Hey, we'll take this island in 3 days," and in 3 days, we raised the flag over Mount Suribachi, but we didn't secure the island for another month.
You can't put, yeah, it don't mean shit.
mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
It was up 4 days.
I heard 3.
We don't get one day for
You-
travel.
you
It's on
obviously
the
more
23rd
research
of
than I did.
February.
We don't get one travel day.
Yeah.
No.
Millennium doesn't count. All right, D-Day doesn't count.
All right, they only got 3 days leave.
Well, one of those days
only got a
travel day.
72, 1996.
Yeah.
Iwo Jima.
My research could be wrong. I very quickly.
It
skimmed
probably is. It probably is.
Yeah,
Fuck
mine's
you.
fucking right.
Stop covering your symbol, man. Your big head's getting in the way.
Oh, my big ass
Yeah, there
head.
you go.
Yeah, legalize it. I mean, I'm in a state where it's legal, but whatever. Anyways, so let's talk about that for a second. But let's talk about that valor though, because was it 27 Medal of Honor recipients because of Iwo Jima, and kind of facing that sort of enemy, because it's not you're not in the jungles anymore. It's actually Iwo Jima is pretty fucking barren, and like you're facing an enemy that's doing kind of guerrilla warfare tactics. Obviously, ideally is going to be is a war of attrition, and it's going to be fought in a jungle. Ideally, like that is probably your best case scenario for guerrilla warfare. Che Guevara wrote, I read his essays titled Guerrilla Warfare.
Jungle warfare and high
and
civilian population. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and there's so many things that you can use that the jungle offers you that could fight back without having to waste men or resources. Because Che Guevara says he's famous for saying this, that one guerrilla is worth like 10 soldiers or whatever. So that you got to kind of treat them with that, with that kind of idea. But obviously the Japanese didn't necessarily do that. They were, I wouldn't say necessarily wasteful with their troops, but at times it could be seen as wasteful.
They were wasteful as fuck with their troops.
Yeah, at times it could be seen as very wasteful because of the fact that you're charging bonsai fixed bayonets on fixed positions with that are reinforced with machine guns and
one
mortars.
of the last bonsai charges that on Iwo Jima was a bonsai charge of 800 Japanese soldiers.
Right.
They had 150 casualties on the Marine Corps side, and I think they only had like 3 deaths.
Those numbers are disputed. Again, we had 800 all dead.
All right, well, dispute the whole fucking.
We got
never-
the number police
Not
over
to take
here.
away from it. Not to take away from it. It was
Number police.
From my understanding, like the Battle of Iwo Jima, bonsai charges were forbidden by the general in charge.
Yes.
Until the very last stand of the last 800 Japanese, and they all charged saying like, "Hey, we would rather die fighting than to take as many with us as opposed to just giving up." Right. So that last charge was actually said to be headed by their general, the lieutenant general, I believe, in charge of the defense. And man, again, that testifies to like how amazing like their resolve was. Like, hey, every single person that we kill here is one less person that's going to be invading our homeland. Yeah.
Which is why we nuked them motherfuckers.
Get the fuck out. But no, but like it's crazy to think. Obviously, it was effective because even to this day, we did cross training with some of the Pacific armies, some of the best ones out there. One being the Rock Marines, Republic of Korea Marines, and they still use that tactic. They still use the fucking bonsai charge, as we can all fucking attest to. I know Lucas and I can attest to that because we fucking went in there and did that shit with them.
Well, they just want to give Americans flashbacks. They're just fucking with you guys.
I don't know, man. See, and this is, I don't want to shit on other people's militaries, but it was pretty fucking evident everywhere we went and everybody we trained with. I'm like, damn, we're a lot better than you guys. Like, you guys fucking suck. Like,
I mean,
the Rock Marines didn't want to train at night. They didn't like night training. They came up with bullshit excuses to get out at night
because they had no knowledge.
I want to stop right there. You just said every military we trained with fucking sucked, which I agree with. Now put yourself as a Marine back in 1944. You're probably like, these motherfuckers suck.
Yeah.
You killed 18,000 of them
but at
5
the same
weeks.
time, you're shitting your pants because you don't know where the fuck they're gonna come from.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
yeah,
that same attitude.
No, today, I think we definitely hold ourselves to a higher standard. We understand how warfare is to be conducted when it has like two opposing armies. I think we still got to figure out the insurgent side of things, but that's my own take. But like as far as like military doctrine, South Korea is always preparing for war with North Korea, thinking that they're going to invade. And one of their tactics that's legitimately one of their most like, hey, we're going to do this, is the bonsai charge, right? So we conducted operations in 3rd Marines with, hey, this is how we would assault this fortress. You know what I mean? We'd be like, we'd do our buddy rushing. We'd have combined arms. We'd have our AAVs go in, drop us off, exfil, you know, all that shit. And we'd go through an objective and we'd clear it out. We then thought that, hey, the Koreans are going to do this with us for the live fire round. We didn't. We ended up like, I think somewhere between 500 to 800 meters away from the point. We got online and we ran at the enemy as fast as possible. And now that could be like a doctrinal thing. They value speed over
they value stupidity over.
They value speed.
How many
strategy
was it they won?
So for them, it made more sense to, hey, if we run as fast as we can at the enemy, some of us are going to get through. And whether that's right or wrong, again, that's a doctrinal thing. We'll see
Stupid
how
as
they,
fuck.
you know,
It is stupid as fuck.
Especially,
I mean,
go 331 with
value our
line, and people run at him and you go.
Exactly. So I think about
two machine gun positions would tear us to shreds.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think about the early days. I think about the early days of World War One. You know, Europe, they thought they could still do line fucking infantry and march at each other. And then once they got machine guns, we're like, oh shit, they started digging holes real fucking fast to hide themselves from that.
Think about that. In World War One, they were all entrenched. I guess the idea here behind their bonsai maneuvers is the bonsai unit is always like a flanking unit. So you're not entrenched, your guns are not facing that way. If they move fast enough, they'll break the lines before they can get entrenched. Now, if you're bonsai charging into an entrenched enemy, that's just lack of leadership and a failure of command, right? So,
or one would say it's a soldier's duty. You know, I think I'm not sure if you guys are familiar.
Marines and not soldiers.
Well, I think there's, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Lord Alfred Tennyson. He's a famous poet, and he writes a poem called "The Charge of the Light Brigade." And there's a quote in there that's kind of like it's very often like misquoted and misused, which I think I'm going to be misquoting it and misusing it right now. But it's a soldiers not to I'm gonna have to look this shit up, but it's like not to ask why, but to do or die. And that's just paraphrasing why. Like it's like so your soldier's duty is you're just to do and to die. That's basically the essence of your job. And so you kind of think about that, which is what the Bushido is all about. It's about honor. It's about duty. It's about being basically the best version of yourself, no matter what you're trying to do. And you throw that on top of like nationalism, you throw that on top of imperialism, and you have, like we said, like you have a
Large
fucking dude who's
populace willing to kill themselves for the
and
accomplishment of the objective, which I mean is effective, obviously, because it held us at bay for a long ass fucking time, even after Germany surrendered in World War II. So obviously it's effective, right? In fact,
it's not effective against, it wasn't effective against us though. Cause think about this, like they fucking conquered majority of the Pacific Islands. They even had a big chunk of China too. The
yes,
Japanese did. And so like, so that shit, it worked everywhere else. It just didn't work
didn't
against
fucking
us.
deter us. But
Yeah.
also note this though, right? Recently, actually, I think only up to 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, we stopped using all the Purple Hearts that we had minted for the invasion of mainland Japan. So every Purple Heart that you had seen up to 2 or 3 years ago had been minted for our invasion of Japan. We expected so many losses that only now are we ending or stop using the Purple Hearts.
Or having to make new Purple Hearts. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
So
crazy.
obviously it was effective. We knew we would surmount
Jamie, pull that up.
ridiculous losses. Now the only thing that saved us was the controversial, development of the nuclear arsenal. But let that sink in. Like only up till very recently, we stopped using the same medals that we thought we were all awarded within a couple of years of that battle.
Yeah.
Insane.
I mean, they were expecting like, I think it was upwards to like 4 million casualties.
Yeah.
Something fucking crazy.
Obviously it was effective, right? Obviously the Japanese doctrine was meant to cause as many casualties and take the least number of losses as humanly possible while never.
Do we blame them though?
No.
Chris, do we blame them?
Thing. We would do the
I
same
feel
thing.
like any military, like you're going to always want to portray yourself as like good, like the good people too, like your population, because that's who's going to fight for you. So if you're not like saying we're the best, like this is for your country, this is for honor, like everybody's told, every military is told to have that sense of pride, as honor for your country to go and fight. Like there's a good quote that I like. I forget who says it. I don't want to fuck it up, but it says the old declare war, but it's the young that must go and die.
Yes, I remember reading that. But think about this as well, right? And this is from me. I don't know. I'm sure it's been written down somewhere, but think about this.
Good in the good book, probably
in the good book of Pada. Anyways, not to be sacrilegious here. Good is subjective, right? What is good and what is bad? The victors of the wars determine what is good and what is bad, what is allowed and what is not. Think about it, right? So if
I still think as far as World War II, as far as it goes, like
okay,
we all agree concentration camps, Nazis are pretty fucking bad, regardless of what side you're on.
But hold on, if they won,
if they won, I still think the population can look back, like our population can look back and say like, oh, it was fucked up for us to like imprison Japanese during World War II.
I disagree.
I mean, but it only took us recently to admit that,
to the point where everybody would have been so brainwashed by the Nazis that they wouldn't have given a shit.
Yeah.
You indoctrinated a population to a point where you're saying, hey, this is okay. This is what needed to be done. This was what would happen. There's no issue. Look at North Korea, right? They have very limited external influence. And they all think that that their fucking God is their leader, and that whatever he does must be right because he's ordained by God. They don't think anything different, obviously, for the most part, 95%, right? And that's the exact issue, right? Whoever wins the war is the victor, and they get to decide what's good, what's bad, what the rules are, what they aren't.
Yeah. And to kind of piggyback off that, I found the quote that I was saying is like from Charge of the Light Brigade. There's not to reason why, there's but to do and die. And then it's followed by into the valley of death rode the 600. So like you have this sense of duty, this sense of honor that could potentially, well, it's almost and I wouldn't say infectious. I hate to misuse the word infectious, but it's just so innate in your nature. It's so just a part of your culture almost, that defeat it's just not an option, to the point where it's just decimation is almost a better option than defeat, because pride is at the core of all this. A very proud people.
But if you go right down to like the primal instinct of it, I think it's like that's just like a man, like primal instinct is like to conquer and to like be better.
I don't think primally, I think I don't I'm not I don't think that's I think it's more of when you start developing, because when you primal, I think of, okay, just you, solely just yourself out in the fucking wild. When we start talking about power dynamics and stuff, that's when you have to start introducing like group dynamics. Like you're in a group of people, and who decides who's the leader of this group, kind of thing. Like that's all like kind of group communication stuff.
I think no, absolutely.
Say like who's gonna choose to be the leader of the group. I think that's like a primal thing of like, when I mean it like as like I want to be like the fucking leader. I want to be like in charge. Like that primal instinct.
I mean, if you're talking about like being an alpha, like
primal is more selfish, right? Primal is more
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Needs. Primal is more like, hey, if he's doing better than me, I want to do better than him. Either number one, I step in my game, or number two, I go kill him and take his shit.
But it's always but it's primal. It always has to be for a need. It's usually a need.
Yes, need to survive or a need to benefit, versus what we're talking about is more like
no, right there you just said benefit. What would you not benefit being like the leader of a nation? You would
but
get
as the leader of a nation,
everything that you would want
in the battlefield, right? You're telling people to go die for you and your beliefs. That wouldn't be primal so much as it is like sociological. Right, they have been indoctrinated.
You're diving too far into this, but you're like, I'm like right here, and you're like trying to go way too deep. I'm like, just hey, it's just a primal instinct of like wanting to conquer and wanting to like be mad.
I guess power, yes. The
power.
Greed,
there you go.
Greed for power. Yes, greed for power is
we're talking about greed and power. Yes, absolutely. You're on the right track.
It is very natural for humans to feel that. Yes, to experience that.
Because back in the day, not so much these days, at least not in the US, I don't think nationalism is very high here. Like if we were to go and the same events were to take place now, I don't know if we would get involved to the extent that we were before. But back then, man, back when we thought, hey, America's fucking great, America's awesome, they were like, Japan's fucking great, Japan's fucking awesome, we're gonna take over all this shit. Yes, yeah, it was a huge fucking issue. I have no idea where the fuck I'm going with this right now. We're here.
Yeah, no, I feel you. But I think, all
right here, primal. First, our original, chief, our most important. That's all I'm fucking saying.
What? So what?
Yep. I'll go back to the primal thing.
Okay.
You just
okay. We're moving from primal. We're just gonna settle on the power and greed, right? We're gonna talk about greed and power. So you're saying that it's very natural for males in particular to feel like inclined to seek power, positions. Okay. Yeah. So what were you going on from there?
That some of these people are fucked up and just like have different motivations. Like Hitler was an amazing public speaker.
Sure.
Like he influenced an entire nation to go like pretty much alienate one race, eliminate it. I know a lot of main media Germany did not know about that.
Know about what?
The concentration camps, right?
So yeah, and there's a lot of Holocaust deniers and stuff, but I mean, there's no fucking denying this shit. Like
it didn't come up for the general public, from my understanding. That only became relevant after we won the fucking World War and we started showing the atrocities to the public, who then also, a lot of them did not believe it. They're like, no, there's no way our fellow whoever could have done that.
Yeah,
but it's beyond a reasonable doubt that, hey, it fucking happened. right?
Yeah, it did happen. And
Specific.
to Chris's point, like the leaders kind of put them in that position. So
Yes,
and for
absolutely.
the sake of the Japanese, you had the emperor, which and with the structure, the power structure in which they had, which was I guess you can you consider it a dynasty? I guess I can't remember who the emperor what his name was. But
It was Hirohito. Was it Hirohito?
I'm not entirely positive. I can't say yes or no to that. This recruit cannot confirm nor deny. But that being said, so they're almost looked at as like god figures, I would say. Not to the extent of like your reference, Aaron, to like like North Korea, but or Chris, was that you that make the reference to North Korea?
Anna.
No, it was me.
Yeah, okay. So Aaron, yeah, that reference to North Korea and how they like worship him and stuff. It was not like to that extent, but to the point where like his word was essentially equivalent to the word of
No,
God.
it was very similar in the sense that, like, hey, you could not go against this guy, this figure. Whatever he said trumped any kind of political organization that was available. You couldn't even look this guy in the eye, right? If you were able to meet him, like he was God, like a descendant of God. Like
he's telling you never surrender.
yeah. And he's like,
That's my best Winston Churchill impression.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like a little kid at this point in time, and it's insane to think that so many people would go and follow this doctrine because they didn't know any better. He's like, oh, it's coming from God, I must be right. He must be right.
Yeah.
But I think
it led to 18,000 deaths on Iwo Jima.
21.
The numbers
are disputed.
Yeah, so what's that little the symbol in math where it's the two squiggly lines that mean like almost equivalent to or like almost equal to
with like a slash through it. Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm fucking
About
saying.
equal to, it's about, right? About,
about
the squiggly,
yes.
two squiggly lines about
yes.
equal to. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
But is that what it's called? That's pretty lazy. I
Yeah,
thought it'd have a cooler name.
No,
Hey,
yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah, so like about equal to what?
you're a math man, okay?
I have them right here. Squiggly line, 18,000.
Well,
There you go, Potta. It's already there.
lines. Two squiggly lines means about.
Yeah.
I just put one. All right, it's good enough for me.
Because you're a fucking lazy American, okay?
Oh, hey, oh.
Oh shit! All right, sorry.
A little Indian nationalist over there.
No, if I was an Indian nationalist, I wouldn't join.
Y'all got a little Indian Hitler over there. We don't know about.
You know, it's funny actually.
Mobilizing the billions of you fuckers.
I shaved my beard on Christmas Day, and I kept the mustache. But then I cut the mustache too short, and I was like, I may as well go all the way with this. So I had the little fucking Hitler stash for like a solid hour.
You're gonna make me cut this shit out.
It was the Charlie Chaplin, okay? All right.
You just walked around like
Hitler copied it. Okay, you need to cut that. The fucking arm race over there from fucking Chris.
That's good. That's gonna be the thumbnail.
You know we're gonna.
That's gonna be the thumbnail. That's gonna be the thumbnail for the episode.
There you go.
I'm gonna draw a little Hitler stash on you. I'm gonna draw a little Hitler stash on you, and then Chris is gonna be throwing up the fucking Hail Hitler,
dude.
And then that's gonna be
stepping. Give him
that's gonna be the thumbnail.
Stepping, man. I'm telling you right
Rolling
now.
Vets podcast. Bad podcast by Nazis for Nazis. And supporters alike.
Absolutely not. I'm out of here. I would have been executed day one. All right.
Oh fuck, man. Yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Guys. You guys are something else.
Oh, are we the lovey-dovey drunk now? Is that where we're at?
No. You're definitely like you're looking kind of like Chris right now with the lighting, you know. I don't
looking
know.
Good. Are you trying to fuck me right now?
Yeah, that's a real reason why I want to come up this weekend, bro.
Oh shit. Yeah. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Well, damn, fucking any final thoughts on Iwo Jima and the fucking impact that it has made on the legacy of the United States Marine Corps?
Chris, do you want to lead?
I'll end.
No, okay. Well, I would say that the impact is, what's the word I'm looking for here? What's the word I'm on?
Impactful?
No, not unimpactful. equivocal. Like it's such a huge part of Marine Corps history because number one, we were the Department of the
Of
Armed
the
Forces
Navy.
was fuck you. Department of the Armed Forces that was selected for this task of island hopping, right? We were the ones that said, hey, who was the most fucking badass gung-ho, like get shit done branch that will go and fucking slay bodies, take names, take the fucking islands, doesn't fucking matter. And it is such a staple of who we are and the legacy that we have to live up to that even to this day we reference it. You know, we reference Iwo Jima. We have a select number of people go over to that island and bring back that black sand that signifies the blood that was shed and the valor that was exhibited that day. I think, you know, without Iwo Jima to solidify us as the most badass branch out there. Sorry again for all the viewers that are not Marines. Shit, where the fuck was I going with this? Give me the last sentence I did. Cut the shit out.
The last sentence was
Fuck the army.
cut that shit out.
Fuck you. Yeah, without that historical significance, dude, like,
Yeah, man.
no, dude, I fucking got this. I was going, I was
bro.
rolling, man.
Go
Fuck.
on, brother. I feel you,
What
brother.
was I saying? No. What was I saying? It
Man.
was what was I saying? Dude,
You're speaking truth, man. You're speaking your
Marine
truth,
Corps
bro.
up to what else? Oh, the legacy that we leave behind.
Yes. Yeah, man.
They try to live up
The
to.
journey, bro.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
What?
All right, Moss. What do you
I'll
think
take it from
about
Oh,
here, man.
motherfucker, you will not get me. Dude, I had it. I had a whole spiel.
Don't interrupt me when I'm interrupting you.
Dude, it was
It was tune in next week to find out.
it was the like the common the valor that was exhibited on you guys for a second. What was I saying, babe? 1 second.
We pardon this interruption of the rolling vets rolling a little too hard.
There's a lot of expectation, but Marines are like the one who are most gung-ho about everything.
Yeah, so basically we're the most fucking badass branch out there.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Of course.
And the reason, oh, there we go. The reason why we haven't been assimilated into the Army or the Navy yet, and that we hold a distinction as the United States Marine Corps, is because of uncommon acts of valor that we showed here on Iwo Jima, that we again strive to live up to and emulate to this day. Is the only distinction, one of the only distinctions that keep us in the mind of the public and keep us from becoming non-consequential and again part of the Army.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's like one of the biggest impacts from, and we didn't really talk about this, is one of the biggest impacts of the Marine Corps still being its own branch, its own independent branch, is because of Iwo Jima, and most importantly is because of that image of, you know, the Marines and the corpsmen raising the flag, the American flag on Mount Suribachi, and how that is. I mean, there's every fucking Marine Corps base probably has some sort of Iwo Jima monument on there, and you know, you have people getting their reenlistment ceremonies fucking done there. Like when you graduate boot camp, you finish the Crucible. What do? You're right in front of the fucking Iwo Jima monument, at least in Paris Island. I'm not sure about
on the West Coast. We're on top of a fuck off hill. But,
yeah, well, we had the Iwo Jima monument right there, and it was like, you know, one of the first times you're being addressed to as a Marine is like right in front of that monument, and you know, it's something that is just ingrained, and yeah, you know, people that have that fucking image tattooed on their bodies, you know. So the courage, like you said, the valor, the sacrifice, those. and like we said, like those individual counts, and like even so what, there was 27 people, you know, that were awarded the Medal of Honor. Like, I mean, not to, you know, obviously
Take away
fucking
their-
take away anything that they've done, but like there are thousands and thousands of other stories too of small acts of generosity, small acts of kindness, and
Acts of
and
heroism.
struggle and turmoil and blood and toil and sweat and tears that are involved in there, and loss, and these little moments of just great fear, having to overcome that, and just to do
And it
the
makes
yeah,
think
I'm up,
about
he
the
sees me,
unknown.
I'm fucking down, I, you know, just I'm the one that got selected to go through that fucking this fucking bunker,
It
clear
makes
the
you
shit
wonder,
out, you know.
right? If there was 27 Medal of Honors awarded to just the stories that we heard of, imagine all the untold accounts of units that were wiped out.
Yeah,
Imagine all of the amazing stories,
unseen stuff, you know, and
unseen and unheard of stories that we will never hear about, right?
which makes that quote just rings like so true by Admiral Nimitz, was, you know, you know, fucking uncommon valor, you know, is a common virtue, and it's entirely true, because that's exactly what you needed in order to face an enemy like that. And and I've said it all episode, and I'll say it again, and that's why I felt like if any branch, or if any, you know, force was up to the job, I felt like the Marine Corps, just mentality and structure and culture wise, was the best fit to get that job done, which obviously is probably why they were selected to do just that. And that being said, like I like salute to all those, you know, men and women that were there, um and there are great films and books written about the events there. Clint Eastwood did it like a two-parter, fucking Flags of Our Fathers, and then Letters of Iwo Jima. You see things from both perspectives, and I think that's a very important thing to do in warfare, is to really understand things from both perspectives and not be blind to the people or to the culture that you're trying to fight or eradicate. You know, you want to understand them as much as possible. You don't want to, you know, take things from,
Leave
you
that
know,
to
like,
command
yeah,
officers.
American media, like I said, like it being dehumanized and stuff like that, and you go there and then you underestimate your enemies, and then you get defeated, you know, and stuff like that.
Leave that to the commanding officers. We're here to follow orders and get shit done. We're all in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
together. It's not our job to think about the bigger picture. Our job is to fucking do, adapt, overcome, and accomplish a mission.
yeah. Adapt, achieve, overcome, succeed, right?
Hurrah!
All right. And so Chris,
Closing
pass it
statement.
off to you, brother.
All right. So Iwo Jima has always had a special place in my heart, you know, since I got to go there. I mean, like Lucas said, we officially become a Marine. They're handing us our Eagle Globe and Anchor, and I'm staring right at a huge, I mean, 60-foot tall statue of the Iwo Jima, the flag being raised. So I mean that's why I call it the Mecca at the beginning of the episode. It's like the Mecca, I feel like. And then I remember finding out that I was going to get the opportunity to go to Iwo Jima. I remember hopping on the KC-130. It got delayed 6 hours because of the rain, and like everybody's in there, like we're just fucking stewing. We're like, cannot wait to get to Iwo Jima. Cannot wait to see if we can, you know, hike Mount Suribachi. Which, fortunately, since the plane got delayed so much, I didn't get the opportunity to do that. But I remember
Awesome experience, dude. Like I'm super envious. I never made it to the black sands of Iwo Jima.
yeah, I mean, I remember stepping off the plane, and for those who know him, you know how he said this too. First Sergeant Moon was right next to me, and he was over me and says, "If your dick ain't hard walking on this ground, then you're fucked up."
That sounds like Jerry.
Not at Walmart, you know.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, like, fuck, like, let's fucking go. And I remember we only had like 4 hours, I think, total. So we took off, like, we got off the plane, we started running, like rucking with our packs on, running to the beach, because everybody wants to go see the sand first. I mean, there's 50 Marines to get off the plane with, and we're just like a fucking CFT pace, like heading towards the beach. Like, we're all fucking pumped. And we all get to the beach and like run up on it, and it's just like the pictures, just like everything from the movie, like just a dark black deep sand. For those watching, like, I'm holding it up right now, deep black sand. and the waves. I remember the waves looked like black waves because the sand was black. So even the waves looked dark, and you couldn't see through the water at all. And we all just stood there and just stared out. And like Mount Suribachi was up to our right.
So what'd you feel, dude? Like as soon as you hit that sand and you saw those rolling black waves, you see Mount
His
Suribachi.
big ass fucking moto boner
Yeah,
against his trousers is what he
What
felt.
go through your head? Because like again, you were East Coast. You saw the Iwo Jima Memorial, right? That was like your pinnacle as like, hey, this is your first step. You are a Marine now. Like, how did that feel, man?
Yeah, I mean, I vividly remember sitting there and looking off at everything, like taking it all in. And then once I like kind of like got brought down, like where I was standing, actually, like it just like I can just envision in my head, like imagine like right here, Marines were fighting, like on that day, I mean, during those 5 weeks, like everywhere I walked, like Marines could have been dead there. Like Marines like fought for their lives, fought for their brothers right next to them, like stayed with each other, protected each other through that like insane battle. I mean, it was 27,000 casualties, 110,000 Marines, guerrilla warfare. Everywhere you go, you could step on an IED or a landmine they had back then. I mean, you could be shot by a sniper. There were snipers scattered all throughout the island. So going into the tunnels and seeing the flamethrowers that were there, seeing the bullet holes in the walls, like I don't know, it made me proud to be a Marine, like proud that like this is our history. I get to experience the Marine Corps history. Like not a lot of people. The island's closed to the public, and they only allow a certain amount of Marines to go there every year, and they're eventually thinking about taking it away fully.
Yes, we're eroding the island.
Yeah. So that like
was
it
it very humbling being there, like being like, hey, these are where the fucking true war fighters were. These are where they fucking slugged it out. Like, holy shit, for me to be on this soil is fucking like sacred.
Yeah, I was honored. I mean, I remember I brought back I brought back a lot of sand because I wanted everybody. I felt like I got selected to go because busted my ass. All right, bust my ass. But like I wanted everybody to experience that. I wanted everybody to get a piece of that, because that, like, I remember coming back with just like 2 bags and like, got you guys, and everybody was like fucking so excited to hold it in their hands, smell it. Like
that's a part of our history. Like that's insane. So I remember whenever I was first gifted some sand in a vial from First Star Moon, like that was huge to me. You know what I mean? Like I had not ever been there, but we'd all heard the stories. We'd all heard the tales of Iwo Jima, and to bring back a piece of that with you is just experience.
And me and the group of guys I was with too, we went to a tunnel and turned into a big cave, and there was scattered people's ranks on the wall, people's name tapes and stuff like that. So I mean, we all did it, took one of our ranks off and just put it in the wall. So it's like, it's kind of cool that like I got a piece of Iwo Jima, but I left a piece there too.
So did many Marines before you, man.
1,000 plus whoever visited.
Yeah. Well, that's fucking perfect way to end it. I think shit.
Yeah.
Well,
on that note,
here we are.
Yeah, true.
You stuck with us all the way to the end. We thank you for listening. We want our listeners to know that if your pack becomes too heavy, don't drop it. The Veterans Crisis Hotline can be reached at 1-800-273-8255. If you'd like to enjoy more content, don't forget to subscribe, Semper Fi, and keep rolling on.
Do or die.